What is going on, everyone? Mets Talk with Hayden J here. What is going on? What's going on? We got a ton of stuff to talk about. I'm going to let the chat roll out a bit, get some more people in here. But we have so much to talk about. I'm going to go over the Mets National Series recap, the upcoming series with the Mets and the Boston Red Sox, some news that was put out today by New York State and their health guidelines with Citi Field and the fans. So we got a ton of stuff to talk about in today's stream. But please, before we get started, give this video a like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're not. We got a couple people in so far. I'll take it. So yeah, I guess play it out for a bit. I see we got a couple comments already. That's good. LFGM, indeed. LFGM, of course. LFGM, go Mets, yes. I actually did not. If you wouldn't mind letting me know, what website is that again? I forgot the name of it. I remember you commented on a prior stream, but if you wouldn't mind dropping it again. Mets are playing okay right now. Yeah, listen, I mean, I'm gonna go over some of that in a bit, but you know, they're the Mets. They have their games. They have their games that go against them. So we're gonna have to wait and see with that. But yeah, overall, we'll wait, get some people in the chat. Let's get it rolling a bit. We got a ton of stuff to talk about today. From Geo Flores, which Met will most likely be gone by the trade deadline? I probably got to go. That's a good question. I mean, it's probably going to be one of our relief pitchers. It's probably either going to be someone like Robert Gsellman, Juris Familia, or Dylan Betances. I mean, the only question is who would want these guys. And I mean, when it comes to Betances, he's the big question mark. I think Familia, someone could definitely make something out of Familia. But overall, I would say Gsellman. Although Gsellman's been doing all right, but we're going to get into that in a bit. I would say Betances and Familia are most likely our two choices. What's going on, Lewis? What's up, Hayden? LFGM, indeed. What's going on, man? Yeah, so I guess we got a couple people in the chat so far. I guess we'll go over the Mets and National Series recap. So I guess it's safe to say we'll probably start off with Game 3, because that is the one. Well, that was the game that we saw yesterday, and that was the game that is most likely in our memories from yesterday that we could recall of. Overall, it was a good game. It was the rubber game of the series. I was very happy with the performance. The Mets took the W in that game 4-0. Our offense came into clutch. Our defense came into clutch. Taijuan Walker, he had a great performance comparing to his last start. I was very impressed with that. Just looking at the stats right here, great performance. He only allowed 3 hits, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, and 7 innings pitched. So that's great. There were definitely some times throughout the game where I got a little skeptical, a little timid. There were some signs, Josh Harrison started off the game, a base hit into right field. That's how the game the day before started. So that gave me a little PTSD there for a minute, a little flashback. But nope, Taijuan Walker, he wasn't lights out like DeGrom, which we'll get into that later. But he went out there, he did his job. He allowed the shutout. So Taijuan Walker had a great time. And then our bullpen came into clutch. Who would have think our bullpen is actually going out there and being productive? Our bullpen, we had Miguel Castro going through 1 inning, 2 hits, and 3 strikeouts. Castro's been elite. I think if Castro could just get that control down, he's the type of guy who, will throw pure nastiness and the command will just wobbler all over, and it moves. His balls, all of his pitches have so much motion that you don't know where they're going to land. So that's what makes Miguel Castro so elite. But Castro came in from the bullpen, and then we had Edwin Diaz, the trumpet music man himself, if you want to call him, who he had a great performance, 1 inning pitched. And everything else was no strikeouts, nothing, just ground outs, fly outs. So Diaz came into clutch. So our bullpen was hot and electric. I was excited for that. Our pitching was phenomenal yesterday. And then the Albert Almora Jr. catch in center field was mind-boggling. I saw the Spanish broadcast of it. They get so hyped. I love that. It's phenomenal. So that was great. And then one thing I wanted to talk about was the lineup. I know one thing that was noticed was yesterday. I mean, taking a look at the lineup, I wrote it down. It was Brandon Nimmo, Alonso, Davis, Conforto, McCann, Villar, Almora Jr., and Taijuan Walker. And at first, when I was reading this to myself, I'm sitting there thinking to myself, like, why? McNeil wasn't in. Smith wasn't in. I was assuming they were going for a defensive approach, which is why you had literally the 7th and 8th guy, Villar and Almora Jr., and those are your defensive guys. And I was surprised. A little upset that they benched McNeil and Smith, but I think on the long end, it came in our favor. Nimmo came into clutch yesterday. Nimmo had a phenomenal ball game. This series, Nimmo really came out. Alonso hit a bomb out to center field. So otherwise, our bats came into clutch. They really did. Conforto just got robbed of that homer. That was this close from leaving the ballpark. And then, like we said, with Almora and Villar, they're not really going to do much offense. I believe Villar did have a base hit. Almora 0 for 0. Like I said, those two guys are 9th inning, 8th inning defensive adjustments. But I liked the lineup yesterday. And I'm going to tell you why. And I'm going to touch on this briefly, and then we'll get into it a bit later towards the end. Is that Luis Rojas? He actually used his head. Everyone was saying, why is, JD, batting fourth? Why is he batting cleanup? And I think if you look at the numbers between Davis and Patrick Corbin, JD Davis, he owns Patrick Corbin, to say give or take. He's hit 5 home runs against him. I mean, even looking back, and everyone was saying this, even looking back to Davis's one of his first games at Citi Field, he took Corbin deep twice. And that's the game that he felt he was ready to be MLB ready. So overall, I really liked that move by putting JD Davis in the cleanup. And it paid off yesterday. He went deep, drove in 2 RBIs. It paid off. And that's what Luis Rojas needs to do. And I know I always say, don't switch up the lineup, don't switch up the lineup, don't switch up the lineup. But this is the scenarios when you do. If you're going to put a guy who has a 500 batting average against lefties or bats 448 against this pitcher, well, then that's when you use your head, and that's when you bat this guy cleanup or third. Or if this guy doesn't do well against righties or lefties, you bat him lower in the order. It's just simple stuff like that. And I think this is what I was surprised that Rojas made this yesterday. I mean, give or take, we don't know if he's making the lineups. He definitely has a say. But it was one of the things before the game. I was like, what are we doing? And then after the game, I was like, oh, okay, this honestly makes sense now. And, of course, the baseball, there's just so much more to the game than simply, just what it looks like. There's so much deep inside with sabermetrics and just so much critical thinking skills. And but overall, it was a great game. I like the lineup. I honestly don't have a problem with Alonso batting second. I've always expressed through the last year or so. I know we saw him bat a couple times in 2019 second, but I think looking at his numbers, I don't have him on deck with me, but his numbers are pretty good when he bats second, Alonso. So I have no problem him batting second, third, fourth. I really have no problem. But I think McNeil has to be higher. McNeil, Alonso, Lindor and Nimmo have to be in that first 4. I mean, I know it shows so much depth, but you can't have guys like Jeff McNeil batting 7th, 8th. No. You can't do that. That's not going to help McNeil get out of that slump, or not even a slump, just hit. Doesn't work like that. But overall, we're going to have to touch on that in a bit. But that was the first game. It was overall, I was very impressed with that game. Taking a look at the second game, I have my little flashcard with all the scores and stuff, stats. Sadly, I'm not too genius with the stats. Like I said, the Mets took game 2. Well, we didn't say the Mets took game 2. The Nationals took game 2, I should say, which was the opposite of Fridays and Sundays game. We were kind of in that slump. I don't know the term to use. What's the terminology? Hangover. That's a word to say from Friday's game. Saturday, the Nationals took that game 7-1. Not a good game. Marcus Stroman really struggled early on. Like I said, first pitch, boom, hit into the outfield by Josh Harrison. That first inning really got to his confidence, and I'm sure with Stroman having the high morale and high mentality of 3-0, less than a 1 ERA, he was going high. And then that first inning, second inning really got to him, and he just couldn't produce that positivity or just go out there for the rest of the game. But Stroman, he really struggled early on. Taking a look at his stats, he got the loss, sadly. 4 innings pitched, 8 hits, 5 runs. 4 of them were earned because of an error. 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. So this was a tough day for Stroman, 100%. Like I said, his damage was definitely done early. Bad mindset. Our bullpen wasn't horrific. Stephen Tarpley, who was called up recently, ever since Joey Lucchesi was sent down, did not pay off whatsoever. He had the bases loaded with 0 outs, and luckily we were able to extend it out of that jam. But Stephen Tarpley played terribly. 2 walks, 1 hit. He's not MLB ready. I'm not sure why he was there, but there's a guy named Jordan Yamamoto, which still questions me. Robert Gazelman, who's been very underrated so far. Everyone was upset that he got called up, but he's been paying off so far. 3 innings pitched, 1 walk, and 2 strikeouts. So he's been very sneaky these last couple of games. So who knows? Maybe Gazelman could be a nice little sneaky guy to that bullpen. And then we got Jacob Barnes, who has also been to an extent sneaky. Jacob Barnes, inning pitched, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. Overall, I was fine with that. Jacob Barnes, he performed well. And then we had Jeurys Familia, another guy who surprisingly did okay, 1 inning pitched and 2 strikeouts. The Mets really had a slump on Saturday, I will say that. Left 7 people on base, 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position. Joe Ross outpitched us, and the Nationals offense outdid us. Overall, this was an unfortunate game. But I mean, now we should probably get into Friday's game, and I'm sure that's the game that everyone really wants to hear. I was at work and I was watching it on MLB TV, and I was going nuts. Overall, Jacob deGrom was elite. He really was. It's no doubt about it. Jacob deGrom is being this Cy Young guy that everyone wants to see. deGrom is the best pitcher in baseball. And I'm not even really going to give any explanations why. It's just the stats and the sabermetrics and just who he is proves it. deGrom had a shutout. I believe that was his first, or I want to say I think it was his second shutout in his career. 9 innings pitched, 2 hits, 15 strikeouts. I know you noticed I say 15 strikeouts. He beat his career high at 14, where both back-to-back games against Miami and Colorado, he both got 14. So he couldn't quite get over that 14 into 15 strikeout to beat his career high. He was able to do that. And just deGrom was just real. He was just nuts out there. He lowered his season ERA to a 0.31. He lowered his career ERA to a 2.51, I believe it was, just lowering him beneath Tom Seaver, the franchise. So that just says something. Overall, deGrom was looking elite at that. Pitching was really great that day, and I was glad we didn't have to use our bullpen because we needed it a lot the next day. And just, it's always good to save your bullpen arms just in general if you need them or not. But deGrom, he was electric out there. I mean, he was throwing first pitch, 100-mile-per-hour fastball right in the zone. deGrom's command's always on point, so we don't need to talk about his command or control. But he was just on point. First pitch, 100 miles per hour. This dude is just unbelievable to watch. I really tell you, he just was unbelievable. His fastball's getting more velocity up there, and it's crazy because he's getting older. And you say, usually when you get older, it goes down, but not for deGrom's case. He was a light hitting shortstop in high school and college, and he didn't really have time to make any foolish mechanics that maybe a high schooler or an amateur or an adolescent would make when playing baseball. So deGrom was able to learn, and now it's paying off for him. But overall, the bats came into clutch. For the one time, the Mets bats were able to give deGrom run support. And it really started with deGrom. deGrom got 2 hits, drove in an RBI. So deGrom got that rhythm going. The players must have picked up and said, okay, our pitcher's hitting. We should probably do the same. Overall, it was a great game. I will say that. 6 runs, 11 hits, just what I like to see. This is what we need to give Jacob deGrom. We have to give him runs. The Mets were able to do it for the Cy Young, R.A. Dickey in 2012. Well, we got to do it for Jacob deGrom, the guy who already has 2 Cy Youngs under his belt and is trying to go for his 3rd. We have to do it for him. And this is something that's always been a challenge for him. And that's why, his wins and loss ratio is very low. But hopefully, and then Brandon Nimmo had an at-bat. I will say that. Brandon Nimmo, I expressed him in past videos, past streams. He had a game night. 5 at-bats, 3 hits, 4 RBIs, and 1 home run. Took that ball deep to right field. I believe it was the 8th inning. Cherry on top. Nimmo looked great up there. I was super glad the Mets were able to just generally give deGrom run support. And I think that's what we're going to have to see from this team all season. And I'm hoping this will be something that we could give this guy. overall, I'm really hoping we can give this guy run support. I think we'll get into some comments for a bit. From Lewis, would you deal J.D. Davis, Jeff McNeil, Matthew Allen? No, I would not do that. No. I understand Baez and Bryant may be in a slump, but giving up McNeil and Allen, I feel that's a push. I don't know. I like to be very careful when it comes to our farm system. I'm still surprised we have prospects at this point. During the Brody era, they practically, for those 2 years, he practically got rid of half of our prospects. So I'm just still mind-boggled that we have at least 5 or so, maybe 6 or so prospects that are almost ready and are in the top 100 at least. But yeah, very surprising. From Benjamin LFGM, what's going on, man? Absolutely, it was a great catch. The website, okay, I will remember that. I appreciate it, man. Man, our starting pitching is doing great, and our bullpen for now. Like I said, I agree definitely. Our pitching's there, and our pitching's now. It's always been there so far this season. It's just the bats. I say we have one of the best rotations in baseball, and when Carrasco comes back, when Lugo comes back to help out the bullpen, and last but not least, Syndergaard. Well, this is really going to help out this Mets rotation and bullpen. So much pitching depth, so many pitching prospects that are almost here. It's going to be great. And you just have so many choices and alternates and who do you want to pick and choose from. That's what I love about pitching. You have to have so much. I'm tired of seeing, the Corey Oswalt's being called up and pitching a game and giving up 3 runs in the first inning. I'm tired of that. We have our comment from Timothy. Will the Mets trade Dellin Betances and prospect Martin? Yeah, I was speaking about this before. I don't really know who's going to want Dellin Betances. He's injured. If anything, I can understand if you want to make a case for a guy like Familia or maybe even Gazelman. I just think with Betances is that, he's hurt. So what say is there that he's going to bounce back? Familia, you have a say. Because Familia, he played with the Mets. We've seen him in a Mets uniform do what he needs to do. Well, we never seen Betances do that. So how could we say for Betances? For Familia and for the most part, Gazelman, sure. Like I said, it's so unpredictable at this rate. There's so many guys, and I'm going to touch on that in a bit about the trade deadline. I think I was asked about that a ton before. But overall, the most likely guy to get traded during the trade deadline, it really depends. It's so early in the season. We don't know what our issue is going to be. If the bats and running and scoring position is still going to be an issue, well, we're probably going to go out and pick up an extra bat. If we want to secure some more pitching, in the bullpen, because I think our rotation is going to be fine. If we want to get some nice more bullpen depth, maybe we'll kick to the curb Betances and Familia, maybe pick up a nice bullpen arm. I would love to pick up, a guy like Josh Hader. That'd be a treat, but is it realistic? Probably not. But overall, I would love to do some trades, and I think the Mets will definitely be a top team during the trade deadline. I know we saw the Padres were like that last season and the offseason, but I think now the Mets are definitely starting to get more talks of obtainments and the negative effects to the team being departed. So I think we're going to have to be really careful with that. Cubs won't do that, yeah. Pete is the GOAT. He is. Pete Alonso has been on fire. He really has. I was watching his press conference yesterday. He was elite. He had the black Mets shirt on, which I love those. Pete, he's looking elite. I'm excited for this dude. 5 home runs in the season so far, 4 in his last 8. The dude's going up there. He's much more patient at the plate. I know he's putting a lot more rhythm into his legs and his knees, which, definitely has a big a factor on your muscles and how you move. I know it may seem like, but it won't be all in your arms. No, your legs have a big thing. So, he's been using his knees and legs more than his hips. He's definitely slimmed down since last season. Just Alonso in general, he's been looking good. He's much more patient at the plate. He's cutting down on those breaking pitches that really killed him the last 2 years. And it's still getting to him, but not as much as we expected it to. But Alonso, definitely the GOAT. Yeah, I saw the meme of that. Hi, Hayden. Your thoughts on the lineup for lefties and righties being split at the top lineup? I think Alonso is the second and Lindor at third. Yeah, I think that's – I don't know if you hear when I was explaining before, but yeah. Yeah. And then, like I said, I'm not too whole into the lefty righty. I know we live in the day of analytics rather than visualizing. Personally, I'm more of a visual person when I play baseball. I could really care less for analytics when I play. But I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm one of the few younger people that still believe in, the physical and looking through your eyes rather than looking at a screen. Or, I mean, I don't know. I definitely enjoy the instant replay though. When you go in the dugout, look at the replay. I know that helped a lot of guys out, like JD Martinez and a lot of the Red Sox hitters. I'll say that. Ever since the Astros had to ruin that in 2017 during that scandal. Call up Yamamoto, of course, stated that before. I don't know why he's not being called up. He's right down here in Florida. Doing nothing. Call him up. I definitely be in favor of that. I mean, I'm assuming they're going to send down Stephen Tarpley. Call him up. Hayden will menstruate jury's familiar. I hope so. That wouldn't be bad. How are we training Brett Brady? Oh, except Brett Brady. Yeah, I mean, Brady would be our next closest guy to third base. What's going on, Nelson? What's going on? Sean Reed Foley. Yeah, he definitely looked good. He threw 4 strikeouts. I was going to pick up on fantasy, and everyone's telling me, oh, it's so early. But, he was looking good out there. So I'm hoping, take it with a grain of salt. It was his first game. I think he got 2-3 innings pitched, 4 strikeouts. He did his job, and that's all these pitchers could do. And I think it's great to see now of our top pitching prospects being called up. And I believe we got Reed Foley during the Padres. It was the Padres Pirates Mets trade, I believe. I know we made a lot of interesting, like, more minor league trades this offseason, which we usually haven't seen. When Thor, Cookie, and Lugo come back, absolutely, definitely. I uploaded a video on that a couple days ago. Please check it out if you can. But overall, I think once our guys come back, it'll be great. We'll have Lugo back in that bullpen to secure it, be a long reliever. Thor, Carrasco, and like I said with Thor and Carrasco, once we have these 7-inning doubleheaders, maybe we could start them for those 7-inning doubleheaders. That'll be great. Noah Syndergaard is projected to come back around the All-Star break. That week that we have off from the All-Star break, if you want to take an extra day or two and maybe have a doubleheader against the Nationals, why don't you start Syndergaard during one of those? I mean, he plays 7 innings, so you put Syndergaard in for what, 3, 4? I mean, they're going to be very careful with Syndergaard when he comes back because you have to look at him as a physical part. He's literally all muscle. So he's going to be very gentle. They're going to be very gentle with him. And besides him being all muscle, like a guy like Cespedes, is that he throws 102 miles per hour on his first pitch. He's known for his heat. He's known for his, the funky cheese or whatever you want to call it from Rookie of the Year. He's going to be that guy who's going to throw heat. So one bad throw, one bad move, one bad slight mechanic, rotator cuff, arm, you got to be very careful. And I think the Mets, Jeremy Hefner, Rojas, the medical people, they're going to be very careful with Syndergaard. They're going to monitor him. There's one, thing that they're not comfortable. No, sorry, you got to get out. So they're going to be very careful with him. And then Carrasco, I saw a video of him throwing off the mound. He looked great, looked good up there. No complaints that I saw. So I'm hoping Carrasco could be back around mid-May, as well as Lugo. Those will be too glad. Attainments to the Mets, and then I'm thinking, listen, if our rotations like DeGrom, Stroman, Carrasco, Walker, and Peterson in May, that's solid. That's solid. And like I said, you'll need a lefty in that rotation, of course. So obviously, when Syndergaard comes back, that's when you have an issue. That's when you're going to have to say to yourself, who goes out of the rotation and who stays in the rotation. I definitely say Taijuan Walker is going to be making a case for himself. It's just really undecided. I mean, Peterson, I love him in the rotation. It's just the guys ahead of him going to be able to outperform him. That's really going to be the thing. I know Lucchesi and Peterson had their, battle in spring training. Peterson, well, they both won it theoretically, but Peterson's still in their rotation, so I guess he had the last laugh. But overall, it's going to be great when these guys come back. Brody, yeah. Hope so. Now, actually, it's interesting that you bring up him. So now I'm assuming he's a third baseman. So that Rick Batty, he's a third baseman, so I'll say he could definitely be a guy who gets traded. Um, and then Sapuki, yes, is Sapuki. He didn't play at all during spring training, which is very weird because I was expecting him to be called up as an end reliever, maybe even a bullpen arm, but he wasn't called up. For Devin Williams, I don't know how Williams has been this year. So far, I heard he hasn't been that great. Hey, Hayden, what's going on, man? What's going on? No, I don't need to apologize. Good, you're playing some basketball, getting active. Like Peterson as a long reliever guy. Okay, that's fair. I could see him. I mean, listen, I think he'll have to make a case, definitely. LFGM, indeed. Let's get into the Boston Red Sox series. That's something that I'm very excited on. Great franchise, in my opinion. Historic franchise. But just simply getting into Game 1 of the Mets Red Sox series. It will be taking place at Citi Field. We played the Red Sox last year, and the Red Sox haven't been, they weren't that great last year. But now, so far, they've been electric. They're 14-9. The Red Sox hitters are going out there. They're pitching. Young pitchings, they're lasting. They're like the Angels. Their pitching's unpredictable, but they're going out there and doing their job. Game 1, which will be at 7:10 tomorrow night, that'll be David Peterson and Garrett Richards. So that'll be a pretty interesting matchup. I mean, taking a look at David Peterson, so far he's been all right this season. His last outing, I don't want to necessarily blame that on him. I do want to blame that on some errors by J.D. Davis at third, and then, kind of the domino effect. So it wasn't necessarily on him. But, we had that 10 strikeout game, I believe, against Philly. So overall, Peterson, he's starting to look good. I'm hoping he could stay high and hot. Nice lefty in that rotation. I enjoy him. I don't know if many of you guys remember, but David Peterson made his major league debut in Boston. I believe it was early when the season started. It was around like July 28th or 29th or something like that. And Peterson, he was the first pitcher since since Steven Matz to be a rookie and get a win in his first game. So that's when I kind of said, oh, maybe this guy has something. And he did. So far, he's been that, 49-51 questionable mark in terms of how helpful and how much of a long-term pitcher he is. But I'm high on Peterson, and I still will be. But overall, this will be a great game tomorrow night. Peterson, like I said, taking a look at his stats, he looks pretty good. I'm hoping he can get the W. And then we got Garrett Richards, who, according to this, has been struggling with his command, velocity, and control the last couple games. So we're going to have to see how that generally goes. But that should be Game 1. That should be a great game. And then taking a look at Game 2, which is the game that I think more people would want to pay attention to, which is at 6:40 on Wednesday. That'll be Nick Pivetta and Jacob DeGrom, whatever you want to call them. And currently, we know the Mets are on a 4-man rotation because Lucchesi was sent down. But currently, I don't think that'll be an issue because we have today off. So theoretically, it'll still be a 5-man rotation. But coming down the line for the next couple days, it actually won't be an issue, I just realized, because then we have Thursday off. So that'll be hopefully good then, because then I think Friday Stroman would go on the bump. So then we'd have it. But then 2 weeks from now or a week from now, when we're out of that 4-man rotation, then that's when you're going to have to kind of think, I mean, do you want to have DeGrom on 5 days or 4 days rest? That's something you got to be very careful with. I mean, 6 days rest is one thing, but 4, that's a big question, especially for pitchers. So we're going to have to see how Rojas and the Mets organization can approach that. I'm hoping they'll figure something out. I mean, Carrasco will not be ready by then. Absolutely not. I don't know. I think it's likely they're going to call someone up for a game. Yamamoto would be nice. I always express him, but that should be a good game. Like I said, they're on a 4-man rotation as stated. And then overall, it should be pretty good. Overall, DeGrom, like we said, he's coming off one of his best starts of his probably career, if even, like I said, 15 strikeouts, lowered his career ERA and season ERA massively. DeGrom is statistically, based on earned runs averaged, better than Seaver so far by 2%. So we're going to have to see if he could stay that. But overall, that should be good for DeGrom. And then on the Red Sox bump, it'll be Nick Pivetta, who I think this will be his first outing against the Mets. He has never played the Mets in his career. Oh, no, I take that back. He has. I was looking at something else. Career against the Mets, he's 3 for 2 with a 6.08 ERA. So we'll see how we can do against that. But overall, this will be a very interesting series. I really think this is going to be an interesting series, and we're going to see how Rojas, approaches this because, the Red Sox hitters, they're very hot. They've been on a roll. JD Martinez is the home run leader, 7 home runs. Alex Verdugo, Kike Hernandez. These guys are on a roll. So I think it's going to be interesting to see in Rojas' mindset, is he going to want to play as defensive guys, or is he going to want to play what's going to be Rojas' more mindset when it comes to the batting order? Do you want to put Almora and Villar and Pilar out, or do you want to put in Nimmo, Conforto, and JD for the bats? So this is going to be a big, big thing that it's going to come. It really is going to come to the Mets and Red Sox series. This is going to be one huge thing. Personally, I could see if you want to make the argument. I'd really, in terms of game 2, I'd rather put your bats out there because you have DeGrom on the mound. So maybe for game 1, if you want to put some of your defensive guys, Almora hasn't been horrific. If you want to put in Villar, he's been proving me wrong. If you want to put Villar in, maybe bench Almora for that game. But then game 2, absolutely, you have no reason to put your defensive guys out there because you have DeGrom. And DeGrom even stated, if it goes past him, it's on him. So I think that'll be very interesting to see if Rojas can approach that. Overall, that'll be one crucial factor, as we stated, because, so far he's been interesting with these lineups. Sometimes he upsets me, sometimes he doesn't. And like I said, when you switch the lineup, it's fine. It really is fine when you switch the lineup. But overall, some other news with the Mets. I know New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo announced today that Citi Field will be increasing the capacity limit from 22% to 33%. So that'll be very interesting. That'll probably start May 24th, which is a Monday. And I know everyone was talking, but the Mets haven't had any sellouts yet. And I'm not concerned. It's April. I live in Florida, as you can see, nice sunny outside. But I'm sure if you go to Flushing, Queens, or, the Bronx, see the Yankees play, or just anywhere in the Northeast or anywhere up north, the weather's been cruddy. It's April. It's cold. It's rainy. And we haven't had many games at Citi Field so far due to delays. So I could see why not many people want to go out there, and they just rather sit in the comfort of their home, watching on the couch, nice and dry, and average temperatures. So I think coming down as it's starting to get warmer out, that'll be great. But it's statistically by math, Citi Field's maximum capacity will go from 8,000 up to over 14,000. So that'll be great. Have fans back in the stands. I definitely think that helps a lot of guys. Besides everyone like Edwin Diaz, of course. But Diaz has been doing something. So that'll be very interesting to see. I'm glad to see fans back in the stands overall. I'm probably going to go to some Marlins Mets games. I got some Marlins and Blue Jays tickets for mid-June. So that'll be great. See Vladdy, Bo Bichette. Can't complain about that. And then overall, and there's some other topics we have to go over today. So we went over the Mets and National Series recap, which unbelievable. We went over the upcoming Mets and Red Sox series. So that'll be great. 2-game interleague. So that'll be very interesting. But I just have so many questions with the Mets. It's and it really comes down to these 3. The first one is, can we score with runners in scoring position? Is this going to be a phase? Second is, can the defense hold up? And third, the starts and stops. The third one, I guess, is kind of the most useless because, it's April and, it rains a lot. It's transferring from winter to spring. And listen, this isn't a science channel or, living environment or earth science or whatever you guys call where you guys live. But, it's a baseball channel. But overall, I'm not concerned with the starts and stops. Probably in a month from now, we're going to have less rain delays, less snow delays or whatever. But I definitely think starts and stops could definitely have an effect like it did in 2020, the starts and stops with spring training and then the unpredictedness of when we're going to play. So I definitely see that as an issue, but not as a big concern. Defense will be definitely an issue that's in the back of my head. Before the season began, I was in a different mindset. I was in a mindset of Nimmo's been pretty good. Just, how far back he plays in center field will be an issue. So far, he hasn't been horrific with that. I think there was one bad catch where he was playing really far back, and then I think the ball hit the tip of his glove, and then it went to the left. Otherwise, Nimmo's been holding up with the defense, and overall, as an overall player, you definitely want Nimmo in that lineup. Important aspect. Conforto's not a concern with defense. Smith is a concern with defense in terms of reading the ball, leg mechanics, and just his arm in general. Smith has a weak arm. He's not an outfielder. So he he's kind of one tally for concern of defense. Alonso he is definitely not a guy concerned of defense. So far, he's been proving himself this offseason. He said he wanted a gold glove. Well, he's going out there. He's working on it. Positive defensive run saved. He's going out there diving to end the game yesterday. He dived for the ball, tossed it to Diaz. Crazy dive. He just how this guy reacts. It's great. Listen, first base, you have so much talent. Freeman, Goldschmidt, Rizzo. And in terms of the NL, of course, there's just so much talent. MVP, I see it in the chat. That's right. He's definitely, he may get some votes. He's definitely an all-star. He'll definitely be in the home run derby. Alonso's looking great in terms of defense, of course. In terms of second base and McNeil, he hasn't given too much opportunities. I'm not sure what his DRS is off the top of my head, but maybe McNeil's been holding up, hasn't made too many great acrobatic or mind-boggling second baseman throws or anything like that, but he's been holding up. We'll get there soon. Francisco Lindor, so far, has been good. He made a nice jumping catch yesterday. I think he was in the 5th inning. So Lindor's been holding up defensively. And then I guess this is where it comes to really the biggest guy out of all these 9 guys is J.D. Davis. First 3 games, 4 hours. So that, 3 games, 4 hours definitely becomes an overall concern. Overall concern, I will say that. Hold up. Sorry about that. Yeah, J.D. Davis will be the one biggest concern. 3 games, 4 hours. It's not good. It's really not good. I took it with a grain of salt, said, okay, maybe with Lindor at shortstop, that'll help his presence. But then when you look at the bigger picture, well, then you have Smith behind him. And I don't trust that third base left field because, let's say a ball goes by Davis. Oh, well, then you have a guy with a weak arm to throw him out at third, second, wherever he has to be thrown out, home, first. Well, that also makes me uncomfortable. So Davis is the biggest question mark. I know we have a lot of prospects. We only have 1 or 2 prospects that could play third base potentially. Not including Ronnie Mauricio, of course, but I definitely could see the Mets being in talks for a third baseman during the trade deadline and offseason. Davis is definitely one predictable guy. I mean, I love his bat, but I don't think the DH will be coming to the NL anytime soon. If it does, well, then you throw Davis in there automatically because his bat, it's very needed, but his defense, he can't be giving up runs. And then, I mean, you can't be giving up runs and then getting them back. I mean, still, even if you do that, it's still a no-no. But overall, Davis is a big concern. Pitching, I mean, in terms of pitching, I mean, they're whatever. McCann, he's been all right. His framing hasn't been too great. He's let a couple balls by him. Hasn't really been on top of the ground, I will say that. Everyone was saying how his framing has improved. I haven't really seen it much. I know when we had Nito up for DeGrom, Nito was framing DeGrom like hell. So I'm definitely going to see some time. I'm definitely hoping to see Nito play more, definitely. But McCann, he's as a catcher, I mean, that's his main job is defense. Not super impressed, especially with the whole framing thing and just not so much being lazy, but, missing some balls, tags, catching it. So simple stuff like that. But overall, the defense is a concern. But I think the biggest thing will be runners in scoring position. That was a big issue last year. And I made a video on it. If you guys please want to check it out, please do. And overall, there's so many questions. Everyone had excuses for runners in scoring position last year. They said, "Oh, well, Chili Davis wasn't in the dugout. Oh, we didn't have the review play or whatever they called it, where the players can go in the dugout and watch them swinging and see what they did wrong or see what they did right." Well, now we have both of those things back. We have the presence of Chili Davis. And we have the review playback. So, I mean, what excuse is there? Some players have been using it, and they've been doing better. Nimmo, Alonso. But then maybe some guys haven't. I know Conforto's been in a bit of a struggle. So, I mean, I don't really see what our excuses for runners in scoring position. I mean, there's times where we really need to hit with runners in scoring position. And then the times where we don't really care for runners in scoring position, we get a single home run or a solo home run or, a 1 RBI to – you get the point. But overall, this will definitely be an issue with runners in scoring position because you need runs, simple as that. I mean, if all of our guys were like DeGrom, if we had 5 DeGroms in that rotation, I wouldn't care for runners in scoring position because we'd be giving up 0 to 2 runs a game. But sadly, DeGrom isn't 5 guys. We're going to have guys like Stroman who are ground ball pitchers, which then ties into the defense, or Peterson. So that's another thing for our defense. When we have ground ball pitchers, third base, left field. But overall, runners in scoring position, defense, I guess are really the big two. Starts and stops, that's just for like really April, I guess. But I mean, in terms of, if someone gets tested positive, if they start and stop, sure, I could see that being an issue. But overall, those are my three big concerns. I know they said that Drew Smith was activated, or I think they said he was back from the injury list. I believe he was on the 50 to 60 day IL, and he is reporting to the Mets alternate affiliate site in Brooklyn, hoping he could be back around the same time as Lugo and Carrasco. Great addition to that bullpen, so that should be great. And then overall, I mean, like I said, I wanted to address the Rojas lineup situation, which I briefly did with the Boston and National series. So we're gonna have to see how Rojas could really hold up with that. I think if Rojas thinks and uses his head and think, oh, this guy bats 500 against lefties, this guy bats 448 against this pitcher. Well, that's when you move guys around. But if there's a guy who we've never really faced, or if there's numbers that are really all the same or don't have much of an impress or reasoning, well, why do you do it? I mean, obviously you're gonna want Nimmo leading off. That's just a fact. Yeah, well, we'll have to see with that. What's going on, Alec? What's going on? Nelson, what's going on, man? Well, DeGrom pitch in the Philly series. That's the one after Philadelphia. That's the one after Boston. So you'd have DeGrom, day off. If it's a 4-game series, he may. Well, I don't. Well, yeah, because you have the day off, so technically it'd be considerate of doing 5 pitches. So DeGrom off. No, he wouldn't pitch. Unless it's a 4-game series. Mets, Phillies, indeed. Hayden, were you born? I was. I was born in Long Island I lived in Long Island for 18 years. MVP. Yeah, he's been looking like it so far. 4 home runs, last 8 games. And I know, like I said, Alonso, more patient at the plate. He's getting more hits, I've noticed. His batting average is 259 so far in the season. Listen, I don't think he'll have a 270 batting average. He'll probably finish 240, 250 batting average, which is fine. He makes up for it with his power, his exit velo, all that stuff. But Alonso, overall, he's been using his knees and legs more mechanical upgrades. Chili Davis is back. So much more is going through Alonso right now. Much more patient at the plate, just like Nimmo. If Alonso get that average up, yeah, that's true. Like I said, as I just stated 2 seconds ago, that'll definitely be something. Definitely. And DeGrom, I mean, how often do you see a pitcher get in talks for MVP? DeGrom could be a guy up there if he could keep that ERA unbelievably low. I mean, DeGrom's looking for 300 strikeouts, and I think that's reasonable. Lindor has been good. Yeah, so far, I mean, I think it's just everyone has the stigma that, we're giving this guy over $300 million for 10, 11 years. He should be doing it. I mean, listen, he played with his team for 3 weeks now. I give it some time. I mean, if it's like August and he's not doing anything, yeah, I'd be concerned. But it's his first year, and I was even stating, with Mets All-Stars, and I didn't include Lindor, and everyone's like, how do you not include Lindor? Like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, well, it's the guy's first year. It's a new franchise, new fan base, new ballpark, so much is going through his head. Ohio to New York's a big upgrade. Specifically, Cleveland to New York City, that's a big upgrade. The media is much more bigger. Fan base, I'm sure. Just the atmosphere, just the feelings, the emotions. It's so much more different. He's on a younger team now. He's one of the few guys on this team with postseason experience, so I think he contribute that. But I'm not concerned with Lindor. He'll definitely come out there, and he's starting to. Defensively, he's looked great. Offensively, he's not super great, but he'll come out of his shell, no doubt. Give it a couple weeks, he'll come out of his shell. I'm really not that concerned. Don't be worried about JD. Tatis at 15 hours. No, that's fair. Listen, but when it comes to JD having the history of it, where, Tatis, what's his history? Striking out to an extent. Don't see other teams having strong players, such as us joining the team. Hold up. Don't see other teams having strong players, such as us joining the team. Just Danny Davis. Just disappointment Davis. I've seen that. But please, everyone, drop some more comments. We'll go through them. I kind of got through everything quicker than expected, believably. We got through the Mets-Nats recap, Mets-Red Sox series coming up. The lineups, Rojas, Alonso. So we got through that pretty quickly. So yeah, please, if you want, drop a comment, ask a question, anything. I know one thing I guess we'll briefly touch about is Madison Bumgarner's no-hitter yesterday. We saw Madison Bumgarner. First of all, we saw the D-backs and the Braves play a doubleheader. First game went great. Well, the second game, they had Madison Bumgarner on the mound, who went 7 innings and gave up 0 hits. So, there was the whole questioning is that, does it count as a no-hitter? And I'm sure most of you guys heard the news by now. Overall, my opinion is if it can count as a shutout, a complete game, then it should count as a no-hitter. Do we know if it went 9 innings, if he could have, got 6 more outs? We don't know that. There's been plenty of guys who went into the 7th, 8th, 9th inning and then gave up a hit. I know we saw Mike Mussina did it twice, once with the Yankees and once with the Orioles in the 90s. It sucks. One of the worst times to have it. J.A. Happ, a couple days ago, he was throwing a no-hitter, I think into the 7th or 8th, gave up a hit. But overall, I think if MLB is implementing, these rules that some of the players and fans aren't fond of, well, then they should recognize it as a no-hitter. It's, simple as that. MLB put that in there, and it counts as a game, so it should clearly count as a no-hitter. If it can count as a shutout, count as a complete game, it should count as a no-hitter. I really do. I think it'll be probably with an asterisk or air quotes because it's much shorter, but it's like, a combined no-hitter, to be honest with you. But yeah, overall, I think it should definitely be a no-hitter. And Madison Bumgarner, he hasn't been looking too hot. Everyone was saying he was fried. His first 3 starts with Arizona this year weren't too good. Gave up 3 or more runs in all of his starts. Last year was not his year, but last game I saw, he was looking like 2014 Madison Bumgarner. But it's just if he could stick to it, that's going to be the whole question, and that's what we're going to have to see from the one and only Madison Bumgarner, of course. Salute to the chat, everyone. We have 9 people in the chat. What's going on? What is going on? LFGM. Are you going live tomorrow? I don't know. We'll have to see. In terms of my channel, probably not. I'm not sure. The Mets play. Yeah, like I said, the Mets play the Red Sox. I went over that. Probably not. Probably not. With Momo, no. How about the Braves overhyped too early? Yeah, the Braves were definitely one of the ones to finish best in the NL and baseball overall. So far, their pitching rotation hasn't been too great in them. Acuna's really been carrying that team. Max Fried's turned out to be a disappointment so far. Soroka's still out. Ian Anderson's, I guess, one of their few guys that they can count on besides Drew Smiley. But overall, their hitting's been it's been there. But I feel Acuna's kind of that top dog piece to carry this team overall. I think Albies, I know Pache's out. I know he's on the IL. But overall, if guys like Ozuna, Darno, Albies, Freeman, they can get their bats woken up more, which they're starting. Definitely could be a scary team. It's so early in the season. I just think everyone has this mindset of, 60 games. If this was a 60-game season, yeah, I'd be concerned as hell with the Braves or with the Mets right now. But it's not. We have over 150-something more games to play. So, look at the 19-31 Nationals from 2019 or, the 10-3 Rockies from last year or, the 14-3 Mets from 2018, times change. It really is. And 14-3 would probably affiliate right now. Exactly. So I'm not concerned. Time will tell. Honestly, once it's around the All-Star break, then that's when I kind of start making my, judgments and sayings and kind of start to form opinions and have facts to back them up. But I think that they will win the NL East. The Mets or the Braves, both of those teams are likely. At this rate, the NL East is really up for grabs. If it was a 60-game series, yeah, it'd definitely be up for grabs. But overall, I think it'll definitely come down to the Mets and the Braves. Braves need pitching, Mets need hitting, so we see how both sides of different thing. Cubs beat the Braves, ? I did see they're playing. Let's see who's starting for them tonight, though. I did see they were playing, but we have to see who's starting for them tonight. So Braves play the Cubs tonight at 7:10. Oh, I think it was Zach Davies, right? Isn't he pitching for you guys? My computer likes to work. Yeah, I know the Cubs bats have definitely woken up. I don't like to say we did it, but ever since they played the Mets, the Cubs bats have been waking up. Baez is striking out less. Chris Bryant, I don't want to say Chris Bryant is back, but Chris Bryant's been looking electric so far. Their offense has been doing pretty good. David Bodie, Ian Happ, Chris Bryant, Rizzo, Contreras, whoever they have. I mean, Nico Horner, no, not Eric Sogard. I mean, Eric who? I mean, everyone knows who he is, but he's kind of one of those like low-level guys like Gene Segura or I don't know, or Miguel Rojas to kind of be like the Met killer, if you could say. But yeah, like I said, Braves and Cubs tonight. Fair match. Well, not fair matchup. Charlie Morton, right-hander against Zach Davies. Like I said, so that should be nice. Pretty good. Charlie Morton's been looking so far so good with Atlanta. I know he has this nice little curveball, I guess you could say. He's been using that a lot, especially this season and last season. I know he kind of developed it more ever since he left from the Astros, so that'll be very nice. Yeah, Met killer. That's the term I use. The Met killer. But overall, that should be good. So I don't know. That should be a good game tonight. I may tune into that. I mean, the Mets are not playing tonight, as I stated. So there's a ton of good games. We saw the Tigers lost to the Royals. There's a ton of good games on tonight. I'll probably tune into maybe Yankees and Orioles. Davey Garcia is making his debut against the former Met, Matt Harvey. So that'll probably be a game I tune into. I'm sure that'll get a lot of hype, a lot of views to that game. Athletics and Rays will be on tonight. Sean Manaea against Rich Hill. Like we said, the Athletics could not get the 14th straight win. Sadly, the Orioles got to them yesterday, put 8 runs on top of them, only going against 1 run. So sadly, the A's couldn't continue on, but I still think they're a deadly team. Everyone was saying, oh, 0-5, 0-6, 2 and whatever they said, 2-6. I'm not concerned. It's so early in the season. And the Athletics, they have so many powerful bats. You know, you have Mark Canha, who's pretty underrated, if you ask me. Jed Lowry, who, as a former Met fan, it pains me to say, the Mets should have let him get surgery. And that's what happened. Jed Lowry came to the Mets. He had his whole leg, which was like a machine. And the Mets said, no, you're not going to get surgery. And if you get surgery, we're going to sue you and file a grievance. So he said, okay, I won't get surgery. I'll suffer. He was 0 for 11, whatever, 0 for 10 with the Mets. He left, went to Oakland that offseason, got the surgery. Look at him now. So it really shows how corrupt Brody and, their organization was back then. But, yeah, the Athletics are looking good. Mark Canha, like I said, completely underrated center fielder. Jed Lowry, as we stated. Matt Olson, I love him. Great first baseman, probably one of the best. Matt Chapman, love the guy, one of the best third basemen out there. I got him on my fantasy. Who else you got there? I think Steven Piscotty, Eli Elvis Andrews. So, yeah, we'll see how that game goes tonight. That should be a good game. Rays are definitely on a little streak. I know they've been struggling with the Blue Jays these last couple days. You got Randy Rosarena, who made that gorgeous web gem catch in center field a couple days ago when it got lost in the roof with Kevin Kiermaier. You got Austin Meadows, Mike Brasso, Brandon Lau, Mike Zunino, Willie Adames, who's also on my fantasy. So that'll be a good game tonight. I know one good game is the Marlins and Brewers. That should be very interesting. Trevor Rogers against Corbin Burns. 2 pitchers who probably, if you were to ask me 2 weeks ago, how would these guys go? I'd say, who's Trevor Rogers? And Corbin Burns is whatever. Yeah, they've been proving me wrong. Definitely be proving me wrong so far. Trevor Rogers, 2 for 1 on the season, 1.64 ERA, 31 strikeouts. He has probably one of the best K for 9 rates in the league so far. Taking a look at his stats, obviously. And Corbin Burns is at 40 strikeouts so far without allowing a walk. He is so close to beating Kenley Jansen's 51 record. I think it was in 2020. It was when they were in the World Series that year, so it was either 2017 or 2018. It wasn't last year. They would have not had enough time. So, yeah, that'll be very interesting to see those 2 matchups. That's at 7:40 tonight at American Family Field in Milwaukee. That'll be a game I'll definitely tune into. Lefty-righty matchup. Both of these guys are definitely going to be second, third place ballots for Hall of Fame if they could Hall of Fame. Cy Young, not Hall of Fame. Cy Young. My bad. So that'll be very interesting. I'm excited to watch those two games tonight, and I definitely will watch those 2 games tonight. What else we got on? Phillies and Cardinals. Former Met and former Met killer Adam Wainwright against Wheeler. Very nice. Angels and Jordan Lyles. Yeah, I know he had a no-hitter going a couple weeks ago. And Shohei Ohtani. That'll be hopefully if he could stay healthy, he could be MVP. Definitely can be. Astros and Mariners. Rockies and Giants. Dodgers and Reds. So we got some great games on the bump for today. It always pains me not to be able to watch the Mets, but it's also good to know that they can't lose. So watch another team. Do you think the Mets will stay first? Like I said, it's so early in the season. I mean, at this rate, in a week from now, the Marlins could be in first place. And then in 2 months from now, we could be in first place. I mean, we're only in first place by 9 and 8. And then I think second is Philly. So like a week really determines it. So I'm sure there's going to be times where we're going to be third, fourth, maybe even, I don't want to say fifth, but there's going to be times where we're second, third, maybe even fourth in the division. It's going to be so close. I think we're going to fluctuate around 500. We're going to fluctuate around the 500 mark for a bit. I think it's really going to come for most of the offseason, most of the season where we're going to be around 500. I think for most of the season, we're probably going to be, 5 games around 500, above, of course, until maybe around the trade deadline. And then maybe not trade deadline, maybe around end August, early September. That's when we'll start to hopefully pick up. And that's my terminology of hoping. So, yes. Alec Boehm. Yeah, he wrote Jason Worth 2.0. He's a potential Met killer. Potential Met killer. Yo, what's going on, Jordan? What's going on? Love the profile picture. Lindor, Davies, yikes. Paul DeYoung on the Cardinals. The Brewers, yeah. Met killer. Did you win fantasy this week? I did not. I think I went 4 first. I got 4. The other person had 6. So, whatever, it happens. I've been doing better at my fantasy. My bats are definitely starting to pick up. I know I have Pete on my fantasy team, so he got me 4 home runs on the bump for this week. So that was very good. I'm hoping my fantasy can start to pick up. You're 3-1. All right, that's cool. That's cool. What are you playing? Do you play on like a Yahoo, ESPN? I don't know. I was debating. Some of my friends from my school and work wanted to start a fantasy and based off of money like a DraftKings or something like that. But I said, nah, I just want to have fun. We'll do something cheap like Yahoo. And I'm in 2 leagues. I'm in ones with some of the more YouTube community, and then I'm in a personal one with my friends, which I probably pay more attention to that one because I have better pitching. That was an issue with me is when I started my fantasy with the YouTube guys, I kind of neglected pitching, so that was a bit of issue. I kind of stuck with the bats, but the pitching is much as important too. It's unfortunate defense doesn't play a big effect because I have some good guys. I have Willie Adames, I have McNeil. I have some solid defensive guys. So if only Michael A. Taylor, he's pretty fast. He gets me some stolen bases. So. You do Yahoo and you have Tatis and DeGrom. Yeah, so you must have been a happy camper last week. 15 strikeouts in a game and what? How many home runs did Tatis have last week? Like 5? 4? He had 2 in one game. Hey, he had 5, right? I was going to say, someone asked me before, like, who had the best performance last week? And I answered DeGrom, and everyone was like, really? And I was like, yeah. And they're like, oh, I'd say it was an offensive guy. I was like, all right, who do you say offensively? And they said Tatis. So, yeah, I know Tatis had a nice ride last week. Harper had a nice ride. His batting average on base percentage has been up there. Let's take a look-see. Yeah, I know. I saw a post about it. Yeah, so we'll have to see with that. Check Twitter. See if anything's new. If you guys want, please feel free to give a comment. Drop some more questions below. See what you guys have. We'll check Twitter quickly. Hopefully we don't lose a ton of people. Yeah, nothing really seems new with Twitter, obviously, because It's an off day. But like I stated, in terms of, new Mets news, Drew Smith is activated from the IL. He'll be at the Mets alternate site. The Mets play the Red Sox, 2-game series. That's overall really it in terms of news. Like we said, in terms of the Mets, and like I said, in terms of Citi Field, 33% of capacity. Definitely, guys, let me know, what ballparks would you like to go to this season? Please let me know. I'd be very interested to see what ballparks you guys would like to go to. I would like to go to a ton of ballparks. So far, I've only been to, in my life, I'm 19 years old, I've only been to City, Yankee, Fenway, and Marlins Park. Only 4. And I've been to the old Yankee and Shea Stadium. But overall, I would like to go to Marlins Park again. It's a gorgeous ballpark. It's themed around that Floridian culture, which I like. Great ballpark, if you ask me. I kind of want to go to Tropicana Field just because everyone complains about like how cruddy of a ballpark it is. So I kind of just want to go and like see it for myself. But I heard like it sucks if you're like if I go and they're playing the Mets and the Rays are winning. I heard it's really bad because they'll play like so much music and the horns, and they'll really make the away fans feel like crap if they're losing. I heard. But I wouldn't mind going to Tropicana Field, see what it's like. I'd like to go to a lot of the older ballparks before they get closed. I would like to go to Fenway, of course. I would like to go to Wrigley Field for the more historical nostalgia. Where else would I like to go? I'd like to go to Camden Yards. Everyone always said how gorgeous of a ballpark that is. I wouldn't mind going to Minute Maid Park. There's a lot of good ballparks, but I think my number one as of right now, I would like to go to Fenway or Wrigley, the historical, nostalgia aspect. But in terms of looks, I would like to go to probably Camden. Camden's a nice ballpark, or Coors Field. That'd be nice. There's so many ballparks I know I would like to go to. And I was upset. I was supposed to go to the All-Star game this year. We're going to touch on this briefly. For obvious reasons, but I was supposed to go to I was hoping to go to the All-Star game at Truist Park, and then they moved it because I live in Florida, so it's 8-hour drive tops for me. So I was going to go to that, but sadly it changed. So hopefully maybe they'll have an All-Star game. Maybe in the Trop would be nice. LFG, Indeed YouTuber. Who is that? Then Joey Votto. All right, that's fair. You've never been to an MLB stadium? Yeah, it's something you got to do. Just even if you're not a baseball fan or a sports fan, nice trip to the ballpark, hot dog, whatever you do. I mean, when I go, I always get a ton of food. I spend a lot of, I don't buy too much, but I spend a lot of money on the stuff I buy. I get a ton of nice food. When I go to Citi Field, sometimes I'm basic. I'll just get like a burger, hot dog, some soda. Sometimes I go to Shake Shack. There's a nice pizza place there. Citi Field does a lot of good stuff, and I'm hoping Steve Cohen could really get more involved with the Citi Field culture, kind of like the Wilpons lacked. Recognize more monuments around the stadium. I know that they're having the Tom Seaver statue being shown. I believe they're going to have that in July, so that'll be great to see. That'll be a nice unveiling. What else is there that Steve Cohen needs to do? Steve Cohen's going to do a lot with this ballpark. He's going to do a lot, with the theme, the culture of it, build more up it. And I think that'll be nice. I think that'll really be nice. Hopefully more, food chains, restaurants. I know security's been talks. Security's not the best at Citi Field. I will say that. I've been to Citi Field a fair amount of times, and I'll say that the security there, they're older. They definitely are a little rude. And I'll walk by and, say something, I remember, I think it was my first game at Citi Field in 2009. And I went up to where they do autographs, and I asked one of the security guards, hey, when the players come out for autographs, and I always remember his name. He was like, and he was arrogant. And he was like, oh, well, I'll give you my autograph if you want. It's just like, don't, your security. Listen, I understand security like to be tough and all, but it's a ballpark. You have to be nice. It's supposed to be an enjoyable experience. You don't want to ruin by security. And this is all sports around. Not even sports, anything, concerts, shows, whatever. So I'm hoping Steve Cohen could really approach that. I will say that security is a little rude. When you do the bag checks, I brought my, I don't have it on me, but I had a little like drawstring bag, and they were giving me a hard time about it because they kept calling it a backpack. But, this is a backpack. A drawstring is not a backpack. And they were giving me a hard time about that. And it literally said you could bring a drawstring bag. So they were like, "Oh, oh, we're sorry." I was like, "Well, you held me for 5 minutes," but hopefully Citi Field could approach that. Just the atmosphere around Citi Field. I know Coors Field sounded like Citi Field a couple days ago when they were there. So I noticed a lot of an increase of away fans at stadiums. Probably because certain stadiums vary different numbers. A team like the Rangers allow 100%, where the Nationals allow 10. So if the Nationals play the Rangers in an interleague game, well, I'm assuming the Nationals may get a lot of fans there. So that'll be very interesting to see. But overall, that's really it with Mets news. If you guys have any more comments, please drop them. I did upload a new video yesterday. If you wouldn't mind checking that out. That was about Pete Alonso's reaction to the home run derby of 2021 in Coors Field. If you guys would not mind, please check that out. It is my most recent video. Please check it out. Give that video a like, comment, whatever you want to do. Just view it. Trying to get those views up on that. Trying to get out there more. And please, if you can, let me know what I could do to help improve the channel, what you guys would like to see, what I could do more of, what I could do more or less. I went to a minor league. Oh, nice. If you remember what stadium. I've been to a couple minor league games. I've been to a Hudson Valley Renegades game twice. I've been to a Long Island Ducks game once. I've been to a fair amount of minor league games. So minor league games are nice. I mean, they're smaller, so you have that closer reaction with the player. The food isn't as great, but I mean, it's still nice to go to the ballpark. You have a higher chance of getting a ball, more, close interactions. I went to the Hudson Valley Renegades game, and I think it's in Dutchess County. And I think they're affiliate now. When I went, they were an affiliate for the Rays. Now I think they're an affiliate for the Yankees. But when I went, they were super nice. They let us on the field. They gave me that bat right in the corner. You could see right there. One of the players gave that to me, handed it to me, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess you could take it." So I'd cook it. I think it was by Chris Shaw, I think was his name. I don't know if he's related to Travis, though, but it was pretty nice. So I was able to get that. Got a ton of autographs. Got all my ticket stubs signed by practically the whole team. The whole Hudson Valley Renegades team just lined up by the dugout, and I just went boop, 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 selfie, signature. It was great. If only Major League could do that, but of course, much more fans and much more serious than minor leagues. Of course, 47,000 fans to 5,000 tops, and I think I went on a school day, so there was like no one there. So yeah, that should be pretty cool. But overall, nothing seems to be new on Twitter. Do you see Mets are allowing? Yeah, I did touch on that. Like I said, they will be allowing from 22% to 33%, according to Twitter. New York State will be allowing more people out at stadiums, which is great, getting fans more back in the stands. I would like to say the protocols will be similar. You'll have to probably need to show some type of vaccination records or negative test result records to enter the stadium. I'm assuming they will still be selling these seats in a pod formation in rows of 6. Haven't really heard much. I know in terms of food, a lot of the stands are closed. They do have food there, of course, but I know it's very different. I know in Los Angeles at Dodger Stadium, you have to order it on your phone, and there's no money exchange. It's all virtual money, so it's like Apple Pay and that stuff. So that'll be interesting. See how the Mets could approach this. I'm hoping we could get a full stadium by the playoffs. Listen, if the Mets make the playoffs, it would suck to not see many fans in the stands. That would be crucial. And that's why I felt bad when the Dodgers won the World Series. They had like 5,000, not even 5,000 fans in their stadium. Where let's say they were able to play in a Dodger Stadium and have a full capacity. I think Dodger Stadium's were like 50,000 capacity. They could have easily got that. So I'm really hoping the Mets could get full capacity, get back to the norm. Rumble. Oh, okay, that's cool. Yeah, they're a Mets affiliate too, I believe. Very cool, very cool. But please, everyone, probably going to stream in a bit. If you could, drop some comments, questions, anything else that could just generally help. Be a big appreciate. Let's see what else is new. Any more comments? Nothing new with Twitter. New with Twitter. Yes, otherwise we had a great stream, covered all the good news. Favorite MLB stadium? I mean, Citi Field's nice, regardless of being a Mets fan. I think it's nice. You have the rotunda. It is a nice ballpark. In terms of looks and just wanting to go to or going to, Camden Yards. I mean, I've seen so many videos of Camden Yards. So many people go there. Even people that I personally know went there, and they said it was awesome. So probably Camden Yards, I would say, would be a nice stadium. In terms of favorite ones that I've been to out of the four, I said I've been to Fenway, been to Marlins Park, City, and Yankee. Probably out of the ones I've been to, Citi Field. Marlins Park is nice, though. It's not bad. It has that Florida culture theme around it. Interesting food, too. A lot of seafood because it's Florida. But yeah, thank you for the question. Great question. Please, everyone, drop your final comments, questions, and everything. We had a great stream. We got a fair amount of people in here now. I know it's starting to dial down, but I think there was a point where we had 13 people in the chat. So a round of applause for everyone that stayed. I know Boomer stayed for most of the stream. We had a ton of great people in here. We had Lewis, Gio, Teddy, Alec, Matt, Benjamin, Timothy. So we had a ton of great people. YouTube production. So we had a ton of great people on the stream. Ton of great comments, questions. I think we just hit 270 subscribers. So that is always good. I appreciate everyone for doing that. Otherwise, great stream as always. Favorite to win the home run derby. I mean, it's still unknown who's going to be in it, but I'm safe to say it's going to be guys like Ronald Acuna, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., Judge and Stan could be in it. That'll be nice. That'll be crazy. 2 Yankees battling off. Yeah, those guys. So is that 5? Alonso definitely will be in it. Who else is hitting a lot of dingers this season? Actually, I don't know if Stanton and Yelich. I don't know if Stanton and Judge are going to want to do it because they'll probably get hurt. And if they make the All-Star team, I think they'd rather play in the All-Star game than the Home Run Derby. I know that's what Yelich did. A couple of years, 2019, he did that. He had the option of playing the home run derby, and he said, "No, I'll play in the All-Star game. The All-Star game is more relevant, more my touche, and just more memorable, I guess you could say." So Yelich did that, and then in replacement, he had Matt Chapman, and in Coors Field too. So the balls are going to be flying. I did a video on that. That was in my Pete Alonso home run derby video. If you wouldn't mind, everyone, please check that video out. Most recent video title is called Pete Alonso reacts to home run derby. Please check that out. Give that a like, comment, whatever you got to do. So yeah, please do that. But yeah, Coors Field, the air is thicker. This isn't a science channel, but I'll briefly go over it. The air is thicker. It's higher up, literally a mile high. So the balls will be flying, carrying more speed, probably a mile or 2 miles per hour extra. So that'll be great. And like I said, I think I said Coors Field would be nice. Mets fan, what's going on, man? What's going on? Thank you for tuning in. Yes, yeah, okay, yeah, he was hurt. That's true. That's true. Nah, Boomer's cool. Boomer's been asking some great questions. Boomer and I have been rocking out. We've been talking about minor league teams, MLB stadiums. Boomer's my G. But yeah, I mean, please, if you guys have some comments, please drop them, questions, anything. I'd be very interested to see what you guys have to say. We had a great stream today. We had, I think, a tops of 13 people in here at one point. 13 people at one point. So we'll hopefully average 100 views for this stream. My channel's been doing pretty well so far. I will say, I think our prospects video is over 2,000 views, so we always appreciate that. So that's always good to see. And my camera was off for some weird reason. I don't know why. But yeah, please, everyone, drop some more comments, questions. Bruh, that's what I always say. If you go into Mets fans only stream, I always say bruh whenever Which Met player is your favorite? Currently on the team, I got to go my boy Pete Alonso. Right there. Shit. Fuck. Right there. Pete Alonso's my favorite. Big Pete Alonso fanboy. Brings that hype. He reminds me of David Wright when I was a little kid in like 2004, 2003. I love that. I remember when David Wright was called up. I was pumped. Same reaction for Pete Alonso. Who do you think the Mets will trade for this trade deadline? Early relief pitchers. That's a great question. I mean, I think there's so much. I mean, it's so early in the season that we're going to have to see what is the priority. Basing if our issues are still the same, if our pitching's fine, if our bullpen's fine, if our rotation's fine, if, let's say, the runners in scoring position is the issue then we'll probably go for a nice power bat. I'm not really sure what teams will be willing to trade. I mean, I'd be in favor of obtaining a guy like Matt Chapman and getting rid of J.D. Davis because I don't think the DH will be in the NL anytime soon. So if you want to get a guy like Matt Chapman from the A's, he could be a nice defensive guy and bat guy, offensively and defensively. But I think there's just so many questions. And, I mean, the A's are going to get rid of Chapman. You know, the Athletics are a cheap team. I don't know when he's arbitration eligible, but I think he has a couple years left on his contract. But as we know, towards the end of the player's contract, that's when they get pricey. So the A's, they're not going to want to pay him. So they're probably going to wrap him up in a trade. I think the Mets will be a big team to trade with the Padres. I would say those two teams will be high in trade talks for the trade deadline. But that's a great question. Overall, I got to say what the need is. I mean, it depends what's the issue. If runners in scoring position is an issue, I'd say try to get a guy like Matt Chapman. But if the bats are doing fine, runners in scoring position, if we're not leaving guys on base, if our bats are fine, just overall say, if our offense is doing their job, putting up runs, then I guess, we focus more on the defensive side. If our rotation's struggling, which I doubt it will because we'll have so much more depth back, but let's say our bullpen's starting to struggle. I think in terms of our bullpen, I mean, I would love to get a guy like Josh Hader. It's just who we're going to give up. And I mean, I don't know how familiar you all guys are with the Brody, administration, but Brody Van Langenen, he really got rid of all of our prospects. I'm surprised we still even have a farm. I'm surprised we could still even say the term farm team or Mets affiliates after the Brody administration. He got rid of all those guys. And Jared Kelenic was the most crucial one because he could have solved so many issues, Jared Kelenic. You could have thrown him in center field because he probably would be ready to come up today. It's just the Mariners with their service manipulation. Jared Kelenic could play center field. You put Nimmo in left field and keep Conforto in right. That is the best outfield I could think of right now. And Dom Smith, maybe you could put him in a trade package for a pitcher, in my opinion. You're not going to put him at first. But yeah, that's my opinion. I know it's kind of a rant. But yeah, I mean, I know I go on MLB Trade Value a lot. I don't know if you guys are familiar or cognizant with that website. Great website. I remember I recommend checking it out. MLB, it's called Baseball Trade Values. And, great trade recommendations. It's kind of dead now because the season's going on. It really happens during the trade deadline and the offseason. It gets common. But there are a ton of great trades on there. And you could recommend some and have people give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, comment, whatever. But yeah, nothing new on Twitter. Yeah, so that'll be something we're gonna have to see. But yeah, I guess as of right now, I would like a nice relief pitcher, honestly. But I mean, if Lugo comes back, I mean, will we even? I don't know. There's so many questions. So early in the season. I mean, coming like June, a month before the a month before the trade deadline, maybe I'll have a better answer. But as of right now, maybe a nice power bat. I would like Matt Chapman. That'd be my number one guy. I always say, bruh. How about you just said it? If we trade JD, we won't have the. Shit, you're right. We won't have the Cookie Club. Oh, well, he could do it. He could still do it. We'll figure out a way. Who could replace Chapman? Could replace him. Matt Chapman could replace him. Who could we get from the Padres? I mean, I don't think we're going to be trading with the Padres. I think the Mets and the Padres will be the two teams that will be out there, not specifically with each other. I don't really think the Padres are going to want to be trading. I mean, they're going to be getting guys, not trading guys. They'll probably think about the Padres is they really changed. I mean, you look at them from 2017 to now. Their whole team is practically different. Their farm system is unbelievable. Definitely have a top 5 farm system in MLB, probably top 5, top 4, top 3. Yeah, so honestly, I don't really think we're going to be trading him for the Padres. I mean, we got Joey Lucchesi from them. We'll see how good that pays off. But overall, I probably don't think we're going to be trading much with the Padres. We'll probably be trading with the team. I mean, I'm trying to think like what team needs what we need and they need. That made no sense, but it did in my head. I could see a team like the Brewers being in talks for a trading partner. The Rays, maybe the Dodgers. A lot of the teams that are going to be struggling, I think we are. I think we're going to try to build up the farm team a bit more. The farm, I know Steve Cohen talked about that because, they're our future. Yeah, but it's so early in the season, and I mean, he has great defense. How can you not like Chapman's glove? I mean, I watch his highlights, and I'm like in heaven. Just saying. I mean, listen, time will come. I have him on my fantasy. What if the Mets are doing great by the trade deadline? Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what the issue is. If they're doing great, I mean, they'll still get a guy and still lose a guy. I mean, then maybe they could make some, if the Mets are doing great, if they're playing way above 500 baseball, first in the NL East, if they're going high ambition, high expectancy, then you can go for some, build up on the farm team a bit more if you want to maybe get rid of some bullpen guys like Familia, Potensis. If Gazelma could be worth something, you could trade them to some teams that need higher bullpen and go after some nice bats. I go in there all the time. MLB trade values, baseball trade values. Yeah, it's a great website. I recommend it, guys. Please check it out. I may do a stream where I go over some. That'll be pretty interesting. Maybe around July during the trade deadline. Yeah, so nothing new on Twitter. I want Hader. Yeah, Hader would be a nice pick. Brewers got a nice bullpen. Williams and Hader back each other up, but Williams hasn't been so hot. But I wouldn't mind Josh Hader. I know he was in talks to the free agency. I wouldn't mind him overall. Nice bullpen guy, shutout innings. It's just who we're going to give up. That's my biggest concern. If you want to get rid of Mark Ventinos, I think that's how you pronounce his name. But it'd be interesting if we gave him up, and I don't think he's going to stay much longer. I read an Apple Rising article that said, Brett Beatty, he's getting more attention. So, and Mauricio, I mean, he'll probably be a shortstop. So he's very skinny, I noticed, Mauricio. Very uneven trades. Yeah, there definitely are a lot of uneven trades. A lot. Didn't the Mets get Anibal? Ooh, I hope not. If they got Anibal Sanchez, I'd cry myself to sleep tonight. Mets got Trout, Rendon. I'm for that, man. Let's do it. Boomer, bring the pen. I got the pen. You bring the paper. I'll sign it. We'll get Rob Manfred time down. Get him to sign it. Angels, GM. Boom. We'll go for it. I will do that. Okay, that's how I pronounce it. Yeah, I don't know. I butcher a lot of last names. I mean, you guys try to pronounce my last name, Jurgielewicz, Jurgielewicz. So, yeah, I'm pretty bad with last names. I butcher a lot of them. But please, everyone, drop some final comments. We'll see how long we keep the stream going on for. We have 5 people in here. Please drop some more comments. See, we got some great people in here. We got Boomer, Mets fan. We got a ton of people. Alec, yes, we got some great people. They need pitching. Yes, that is true. Consumer Cellular, like the profile picture, man. I love Chapman. Who wouldn't love Chapman? Imagine having Matt Chapman and Francisco Lindor glove-wise. And then you have McNeil and Alonso on the other side. I don't think any ground ball would get to the outfield. And that's why I'm very concerned with third base, is because you have Dom Smith out there. I don't really think we're going to focus much on outfield because Conforto's been holding it down and Nimmo's been holding it down so far. And not many balls go into left field, I noticed, with the Mets when they're playing teams. So, I mean, Smith defensively isn't the best. His leg mechanics aren't great. He goes after balls in a weird way. He'll miss them. and he doesn't have a strong arm overall. Chapman would be great. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want Matt Chapman on their team? The A's, I mean, I think half of the reason Matt Olson's a GOAT is because he has Matt Chapman making weird, crazy throws to him. Literally. Good luck getting anything through there. Holy crap. Getting through in what? In like what sense? True, indeed, it is true. Indeed, indeed. Please, baseball fans, drop some final comments, questions, any more statements you guys want to drop, please do. Probably on the stream in a bit. We had a great stream, approaching an hour and 30 minutes. That's probably what we'll call it. I have a lot of stuff to do, a lot of school work, stuff to do. So we'll get that. I'll have to get that done. But otherwise, doing pretty well. Just wanted to hop on, talk about baseball with Chapman. I know that'd be mind-boggling. That honestly would be mind-boggling. And then, like I said, McNeil and Alonso. I don't think any ball would get into the outfield. I mean, just saying. Or yeah, he maybe got in trouble through school. I hope not. Why have I gotten in trouble? Someone told you I got in trouble. No, I don't get in trouble. I'm too old for that. I can't get in trouble. I get kicked out, and you don't want to get kicked out from school or college in this sense. Yeah. I'll say that I'm very loud at work. I was watching the Mets game at work. I stream it on my phone, shove my phone in my pocket, rock an AirPod, and I listened to it. And when Alonso got that home run yesterday, I jumped up and I was like, "Let's go!" And then my freaking boss came up to me and she was like, "Hayden, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm watching the Mets game." And she's like, "Oh, okay, that's fine." She's a Marlins fan, so I was like, "Well, let me be excited. Let me be excited." But yeah, no, that was pretty great. I'm excited for this Mets team, though. I do watch a lot of the Met games. Like I said, I live in Florida, so I don't have access to SNY. I have Fox Sports, Sun, and whatever the other Rays organization TV channel's called. As you can tell, I live in gorgeous Florida. Yes. I am perfect. I am perfect. I'm the GOAT. That's what I am. But please, everyone, drop some more comments, likes. Like I said, please, if you can, check out the home run derby news video that I uploaded yesterday. Be a big help if you check that out. We're doing well in views. I think majority of my videos definitely get over the 100 views mark. Doesn't get in trouble. No, I'm a good boy. Fun fact. Who's got the time? Yeah, I know. Noah Syndergaard wasn't too pleased with the Mets and Marlins, their home opener, is the blackouts, and he was in Florida. So we had to watch the quote-unquote shitty Pirates game. What's going on, Gio? What's going on, man? Love the profile picture, Mr. Met. Love the profile picture. What's going on, man? We got 7 viewers in the chat, 7 viewers in the stream. Salute to everyone for staying. Drop some comments, likes, questions, anything you want to ask me, baseball related. And I'd like it to pertain to baseball, but if you don't want it to, go ahead. I'm not going to stop you. But please. Yeah, nothing really seems to be new on Twitter with the Mets. Otherwise, we had a great stream, though. I will say that. Awesome stream as always. We always do well during these streams. We have a great audience. Can't complain. I know at some point, I think we had 13 active viewers on the channel, so that was great. Gino, what's going on? Show us some baseball cards. All my baseball cards are in there. I have a couple on deck, though, actually. I'll show you I have a couple right here on my desk. This is my Randy Johnson 1989 Montreal Expos card. Pretty, huh? Nice. Pretty cool. And then I have another big unit, Randy Johnson. 1994 Seattle Mariners card. The Mariners had a team going and they couldn't do anything. Speak of the devil, who we spoke of before, Matt Chapman. And yeah, these are just a couple cards I have laid out because I'm trying to collect baseball cards, so I had some cards out, compare the prices on my computer. I have a 2009 Michael Brantley rookie card. You could tell it says rookie because right here it literally says RC, implying rookie card. And then, I have some guys like Yelich, Hader, Braun. So I'm starting to do some baseball card collecting. I don't know if that'd be something you guys would be interested in seeing. I know a lot of people do that, and it helps them with views. So hopefully you enjoyed that, Gio. Hopefully you like some of the cards I had. So yeah, those were the cards I have on deck, and I have over hundreds in there. I have a couple on there, a couple on there. I have one in that bottom drawer right there, and then two in there. So I have a lot of baseball cards. I probably have over 1,000. I have so many through the years. I collect them. I throw them in there. I have so many in there from the 2010s, 2000s, 90s, 80s. Pretty much everything that's more. My oldest baseball cards, I have a Gil Hodges one from the Brooklyn Dodgers that's on there. I may do a video just on that card itself because it's pretty interesting. It's original. Definitely some big bucks. I think one of my old family friends gave it to me before he passed away. So definitely interesting to have custody of that. I will say that. But yeah, everyone, please, probably going to end the stream in any minute. Drop some more comments. Let me know what you think. LFGM in the chat, please. Otherwise, we had a great stream, great people, 6 active viewers. We had, I think, at one point 12, 13. So that was great. Who is the favorite moment in Mets history that you haven't seen? That you have seen? My favorite moment in Mets history that let's just post a picture. Johan Santana was pretty interesting to see. I saw that on TV. It's 2012. That was 11 at that time. Yeah, 10, 11 at that time. So that was pretty interesting to see live. Pete Alonso, 53rd home run. That was pretty interesting to see. I didn't see that live. I saw it on TV. But in person, I've been to a fair amount of Met games over the years. 2019 Players Weekend in August, the New York Mets played the Atlanta Braves. Mike Foltynewicz against Jacob deGrom. And it was the Players Weekend, so, the Braves had the black uniforms. Mets had those really ugly white uniforms that I don't like the black and white uniforms. Players Weekend. I like the 2018 ones, although those were pretty fresh. But yeah, Jacob deGrom got 8 consecutive strikeouts. So I know that's pretty recent to the series in Colorado. That was probably one of the favorite moments I've seen. And deGrom also had a home run that game. He was the only player to get a run. So shows the Mets' history of giving deGrom run support. Yeah, so deGrom got a home run. I think it went to center field. Interesting how he bats lefty, though, I'll say that. So it was pretty interesting to see a pitcher hit a home run. How often do you see that? So an argument for a DH, pro or con, I guess. So that's probably favorite one I've seen in person. And then probably on TV, probably Alonso one or the Johan Santana no-hitter. Randy Johnson, yeah. Awesome. I appreciate you liked it, man. LFGM, indeed. How long did it take you to build your room? Really not that long. We got some more stuff over there. That wall has some more stuff, but I can't turn my computer fully. Yeah, we got a ton of stuff, though. I will say that. And then we have in the brown drawer right there in those 2 drawers, we have a ton of baseball cards and some more baseball stuff in that bottom one. Under the bed, I have some more baseball stuff, and in the bottom dresser right there, I have some more baseball stuff. So I'm pretty bumped on the memorabilia. I mean, you can see I got a ton of stuff. I don't even know. I mean, I was able to do it like the first day when I moved in, but it wasn't that long. I'm pretty quick at stuff. The background, I mean, yeah, like the background, yeah. LFGM, indeed. No, this is where I live. This isn't a college now. This is where I live. But yeah, everyone seems to like my memorabilia collection, and I'm probably going to do some videos on my memorabilia because I have so much, to be honest with you. I have so much stuff under my bed, in my closet, in the drawers, and just on the wall itself that I could just share. I have a ton of great stuff, honestly, that I've collected over the years, and I get a lot of this on Amazon or when I go to City Field, or flea markets are pretty big where I get a lot of cool stuff. I go to sports stores in the mall or just in general. Yeah. Salute. What's going on, John? What's going on, man? Loyal viewer. Let's get a salute. Indeed, John. Thank you for joining. We had a great stream today. We're going to wind it down, though, in a bit. But we're getting some great comments, great questions. Indeed. Salute to the chat. You're our morale goer. You're the guy that brings the hype to the chat. Please drop some more comments if you guys want. Ask me about baseball memorabilia collections. Anything else you guys want to ask. Knicks win 10 in a row. I have no idea. I don't follow basketball. Hi, what's going on, everyone? What's going on? But yeah, otherwise, we had a great stream today. We covered everything I wanted to. We covered the Mets and National Series recap. We covered the Mets and Red Sox upcoming series. We got some great questions from some great fans pertaining to the trade deadline, who we should obtain, some concerns. Farm team, always great to talk about that with everyone. So otherwise, we had a great stream. I will not lie. I definitely would like to live stream some games coming down the line. I do have a superstition that when I live stream a game by myself or with someone, the Mets lose. I don't know why. It's a weird superstition I have, though. But in general, it can get a little boring, just one person talking. But it'd be nice to narrate, commentate the game. Shut off the volume on my computer and just be the announcer. So that'll be pretty interesting. I mean, I'm very involved with public speaking and stuff. People say, all right, I articulate my wording very well and stuff. So that'll be very good as just a public speaker, baseball announcer, whatever you want to be that involves public speaking. So yeah, that'll be pretty interesting to do. Maybe coming down the line. I don't know the next game I'll stream personally. Probably a DeGrom start, most likely. Maybe it'll be a 7-inning doubleheader because those are shorter and easier to do. Plus, I'm watching the game. I like to relax, do what I do. But yeah, I want to thank you all very much for coming, though. Probably end the stream in a minute or two. Get some final questions, comments if you guys have any about the Mets. Please do that. Any video recommendations? If you guys have any video recommendations, please drop them. I'll be glad to read them out. But yeah, I just want to thank you all very much for coming. Salute, indeed. Nah, you're good, man. You're good, John. We had a great stream, great questions. But yeah, overall, great stream overall. Great stream. I appreciate it. How many hats? How many hats do I own? I have 53 hats on the market right now in my closet. I have 53 hats. Most of them are baseball. I have a couple. I have like one or two football, a couple like political, historical ones, like one or two like designing ones, but majority, like at least 45 of mine are baseball. You'll see me rocking the Rockies one, the Cubs, the Angels, the Rockies, the Tigers, the Mets, I don't know, Astros, Athletics. I rock so many hats. Jerseys too. I don't have as much jerseys, but you'll see me wearing some of my Mets jerseys or my Orioles jersey or Angels jersey. But I'm definitely going to – maybe I'll do a video on that, showing off my hats and jerseys. That'll be something I'd like to do if you guys would like to see that. Please let me know. But overall, I want to thank you all very much for coming. We're probably going to call it a day from here. Stream for over an hour and 40 minutes. We had over 100 people join this stream. That is great. I love that. At one point, we had 13 active viewers. That's great. My goal is to get over 20 active viewers at one time. So that'll be great. I think the second hat, yeah, the Expos hat. Yeah. I believe I got that at an MLB shop a couple years ago. I want to get the one where it's like baby blue on the cover. That'll be pretty interesting. But I'm very neurotic with my hats. I have the hat brush, the hat spray. I have the whole hat cleaning gear kit. It's like kind of like with shoes, but I'm not really into shoes. But I have a ton of hats. And it's a great conversation starter too. I'll be in a pizza place for all I know, and someone will start talking about the Montreal Expos and Gary Carter with me, which I'm down to that. I'm down. But yeah, I want to thank you all very much for coming. John, Gio, Boomer, Mets fan, Nelson, Alec, Vincent. We had a great stream as always. Ton of great lads joined. But I want to thank you all very much for coming. We're going to call it from here. LFGM on. I want to thank you all very much for coming. Till next time, baseball fans. See ya.